Finals footy is just 2 weeks away and still nothing is fixed in the race for the Premier's Plate and the Ninja A-League. Tonight, it's the Central Coast Mariners who need a single point to cement their spot in the top 6. They're hoping to arrest the run of a red-hot Melbourne Victory, who are on a 6-game winning streak. And Victory are just 2 points from the top of the table. Now, they are 5 points at the top of the table. As just before you tuned in, Melbourne City, the ladder leaders, claimed 3 points in their game against Newcastle, putting huge pressure on this visiting side, the Melbourne Victory. If they're going to stay in the race for the Premier's Plate, they need nothing less than 3 points tonight. Now, the Mariners have weathered a bit of a losing run earlier this year to steady the ship and grab 2 wins in a row. They're on the brink of a second finals finish in 2 years. Emily Husband would love to make that happen as we watch the teams come out onto the park at the beautiful Industry Group Stadium. It's looking spectacular and ready to host what is a blockbuster clash tonight. Let's have a look at how Central Coast Mariners are going to line up. Massive news this week is that Captain Taryn King has been named in the squad. She's on the bench. It is the first time since an ACL injury ruled her out for 15 long months. That one she sustained in January 2024, and we may see her play some minutes. Meanwhile, Greta Krasula trades places with Bianca Galich, who starts on the bench. Now, Izzy Gomez scored last week. She's had 5 goals in the 10 games she's played since coming back from a knee injury, and she was named PFA Player of the Month of March. She's going to be massive tonight against Victory. Now, speaking of which, Melbourne Victory, the visitors, they are coming in with a slightly changed lineup. Alana Murphy starts in place of Rosie Curtis, and Holly Furphy drops to the bench, while Claudia Bunge, the New Zealand football fern, comes back from international duty and into the starting lineup. Well, Emily Gilnick has been chasing the Golden Boot race all season, having won it once before in 2020, 2021. She scored last time this team played the Mariners, her brace being the only 2 goals in that game. So Emily Gilnick still chasing that one down. It's Emily Husband on screen who spoke to the media this week about the threat that Victory present.
Obviously, like, they've got a really good midfield, technically really good on the ball. Obviously, they've got 2 defenders that are, really good in the air as well, and obviously got Gilnick going forward. So, for us, it's about making sure that when we come up against these players, that we keep the ball moving.
So that's Emily Husband, the coach of the Mariners, speaking about what they need to do here tonight. And it was also Jeff Hopkins who spoke to the media earlier this week. We'll hear from him later. As we take a look at the referees, a big thank you to Paige Malau-Adouli. She's our referee tonight. She's assisted by Amber Morris and Alexis Johnson. Our 4th official is Beck Mackey. Ahead of tonight's match, Coach Jeff Hopkins of Melbourne Victory discussed the challenge ahead in the Central Coast Mariners.
They're a very flexible side. They can jump in and out of different formations quite fluently and fluidly. But look, I think for us this week we've been able to just concentrate on things that we do really well.
And the team tonight is wearing black armbands for Jeff Hopkins' sister Catherine, who sadly passed away this week. Commiserations to Jeff and his family. So tonight it is a win or go home from the Premier's Plate race for the team on screen, Melbourne Victory, and for the Central Coast Mariners, all they need is 1 point to secure their place in finals for the 2nd year in a row under Emily Husband. So we are underway in what is a huge clash in the penultimate round of the Ninja A-League. The Central Coast Mariners host Melbourne Victory. Melbourne Victory trying to chase down the Premier's Plate, and chasing that one down early is Rachel Lowe. But in the game we've just had that was played down in Melbourne, Melbourne City, the ladder leaders, claimed the 3 points against Newcastle, and that's put huge pressure on Melbourne Victory tonight. They are 5 points ahead now on the ladder, Melbourne City. And Victory, to stay in it with 1 game left in the regular season after this week, need all 3 points. As we set up for an early corner, this will help them out. Emily Gilnick on screen. One of the tall forwards that might be able to get back heel. Nearly did so. Really great defence there by the Mariners, and they are going to return serve and try and counter-attack here. But what an incredible strike that would have been off the back heel of Emily Gilnick. Now, Emily Gilnick, by the way, I mentioned, is chasing the Golden Boot. It's just got a little bit harder after that game that Melbourne City played against Newcastle. Of course, Holly McNamara is very tough to keep away from the scoreboard. She was equal with Emily Gilnick on 12 before tonight, but just now she's scored 2 goals in the 60 minutes that she played in that game. So Holly McNamara has gone ahead. McNamara on 14, Gilnick on 12. Gilnick needs a brace today to even things up, or else got to make it up next week in the final round. There she is making a touch there. There is so much to play for in the Ninja A-League and so much in this game. And you can hear Jeff Hopkins making himself known early. As that one's stolen away early, the Mariners go forward through Brooke Nunn, one of the most electric players on the field. Greta Krasula follows up. Step over by Nunn. Straight into a Victory player. Sarah Rowe takes it back out of the danger zone. And Taylor Ray's going to feed it forward again. Gomez went up, and Gomez lands on the turf. Izzy Gomez, who is in incredible form right now. She was PFA Player of the Month of March. Also earned it in November at the start of the season before that knee injury ruled her out. And you can see her knee is strapped heavily at the moment. She has been incredible. 4 goal contributions in 4 games. 5 goals and 2 assists in just over 800 minutes of football. As Victory take it up their end, and Gilnick crosses that to Rachel Lowe, who was nearly on the end. In the end, Nikki Flannery put it over the goal line. It seems to have come off the Mariners. It'll be a corner. Evasive action had to be taken by Sarah Rowe. So their second corner of the match early on. Melbourne Victory come in all guns blazing to Gosford. It's Alana Murphy to curl this one in. It goes to the short post, and Gilnick tried the same thing twice. Nearly had the back heel over the top. It's a really interesting decision to make that move. Couldn't get her feet around facing goalward, so tried to get the heel to it. And that one's safely saved by Sarah Langman. Ball back into the middle. And that goes over the sideline for a Mariners throw-in. Sarah Langman, by the way, had 6 clean sheets this season. She's the only player alongside Nash and Ray who's played every minute of every game, called into action so many times with a 79% save percentage. So that is something that's going to make things a little more difficult for Melbourne Victory tonight as they chase down Melbourne City. Looking for those 3 points to stay in the race for the Premier's Plate, which could be decided by this match. Chidiak taps it down to Janchevsky, and that's gone over the sideline. Janchevsky throws it in, and it's just batted straight back out. Flannery with Sarah Rowe on her back. 29-year-old Irish international with a history of Gaelic football, Sarah Rowe. Also a dual code athlete in Australia, plays AFLW for Collingwood. Ball at her feet now. Brazula goes backwards. That's interrupted by Nikki Flannery in a dangerous spot, but Brooke Nunn gets it right back and she can turn and go. Gomez feeds it out wide. Trimis, who's got pace, and there's a foot race to get to it first. It's Ellie Wilson who gets there. Martin. Ray. Hopkins pushing his forward line to get up a little bit higher. Rasmussen, really nice turn on the ball to beat the defence. Chip back into Brooke Nunn in a dangerous spot. Trimis, Rasmussen. And that one skied into the night of Gosford. Peter Trimis has such pace on her on that left wing. A real threat, the 18-year-old young Matilda. Crucial touch to send it out to Rasmussen. But this will be a corner, the first corner for the Central Coast Mariners after weathering 2 from Melbourne Victory. Annabelle Martin's going to step up to take this. Martin. Long curling ball, went over the top of about everyone. And that floats over the sideline in the end. So an opportunity missed for the Mariners. Janchevsky throws it into Flannery's head. Rasmussen finds it at her feet, and Pennock now has to work through a crowd. Both players saying it came off the other. And Pennock wins the battle. They will get another corner kick. Had the captain, Kayla Morrison, right ahead of her. There didn't look like to be any real threat of a shot as 3 navy blue players surrounded her. Nevertheless, Taylor Ray takes this one on the ground. They go through. Jessica Nash now chipped over the top. It's through the air to the head of Rasmussen. Got to be dealt with. Not dealt with yet by Victory. Chidiak's on it. And Ellie Wilson topples to the ground as she makes the clearance. Nice high ball after the initial groundwork. That wasn't cleared enough, but Rachel Lowe did well to get to Chidiak. Gilnick. Floating ball. It's somehow stayed in for longer than expected. Glanced off Sarah Rowe, apparently. So Melbourne Victory will get this throw in through Janchevsky. This is the 3rd time these 2 teams have met this season. Last time Melbourne Victory secured a 2-0 win in January, and the previous match in November ended in a 1-1 draw. So 2 teams pretty evenly matched. Last time was a victory, but only because of Emily Gilnick's boot that scored those 2 goals. Otherwise, difficult to split them. Courtney Newborn playing against her former side tonight in goals. Launches that one forward. Rasmussen tried to steal it away, and Ellie Wilson gets it on the sideline. Hopkins telling Flannery to get higher as Brooke Nunn takes this away in the middle of the field. She's so fast, it changes direction so quickly. Trimmett now got one to beat to get inside the box. Clever pass to Martin. Martin decides to pass rather than shoot. And Rasmussen couldn't get into a powerful position with her left boot. So the Mariners go back around through Ray. Vocality of both coaches showing just how much this means, this match, as there's an accidental handball by Ellie Wilson, the English international. Both Hopkins and Emily Husband being very loud on the sideline of Industry Group Stadium. So Paige Malau-Aduli marks the spot of the handball that Ellie Wilson incurred. Annabelle Martin stepping up to take this, and she's going to wipe a bit of the paint off because that can always change the feel of the ball on the boot. You don't want anything to go differently to what you've practiced. Here's Ray. This looks like something she's practiced. Tip over the top, glancing header. Couldn't get enough on it from Pennick. Victory under pressure, weathering some attack from the Mariners early. Ray finds Rowe under pressure, receives applause from the crowd. And Hopkins certainly not happy with the defensive display in that little run. Excuse the language as we hear all the players getting involved. We've mentioned how much this means to both sides. For the Mariners, it would be a fairy tale finish to what has been a really up and down season. And there were moments when the Mariners really thought that they were out of the finals race, but they pulled it together just in time. Now they stand just 1 point away from a finals place confirmed. They can get it tonight or they can get it next week. As they try to go through Sarah Rowe and Greta Krasula, who can't find their way through. Victory happy to keep possession very deep in their own half. Dapolonia. Murphy. Stolen by Pennick. Clever. And stolen back by Chidiac. Nice little pass forward through traffic to Gilnick. They're going to continue the run as Martin goes end over end, but Gilnick and Chidiac linking up. Those two, when they're on the same page, are a real threat. Certainly one of the more powerful duos in the victory colours. Here's Wilson. Meets the head of Martin. She'll take this just a few yards further up. Wilson, the throw in to Gilnick's head. Couldn't find Lowe on the way through. Janchevsky is there. Can't keep it in though. Brooke Nunn wins the battle. And Rasmussen gets out in space. She's dangerous when this happens. Now it's Jade Pennick. She's got pace as well. Missed a goal last week. Can she get on the scoreboard this week? None. Steps inside, decides to go herself. Lovely touch. Brooke Nunn nearly had a shot. And the defence was crucial by Claudia Bunge, who came back into the lineup. The New Zealand football firm. That one's gone over the top of everyone's head. And it'll drift out over the goal line. Brooke Nunn, lovely touch around Ellie Wilson, and then the sliding tackle by Claudia Bunge, timed to perfection. Courtney Newborn happy to take things down a notch and just slow it down. She was the journeywoman of last season and came into the Mariners early last season as an injury replacement before finding her home at Victory. Knows this turf well and knows the goals she is standing in very well. Victory just can't link anything up. Rasmussen stolen away now. Izzy Gomez back to Pennick. Pennick with the shot. But Newborn with the save. What a beautiful piece of build-up play from the Mariners. They sailed through the defence. Just couldn't quite finish it. Pennick had a similar situation last weekend when she sent a ball wide. 2 weeks ago, in fact, before the international break. Here's Gilnick. The other end, counter-attack. Nash can deal with it. Now Langman and Nash going to slow things down at the other end. Jessica Nash actually spoke to the media this week and said this kind of pressure game against a team like Melbourne Victory is the game that footballers live for. They are not shying away from the pressure, and certainly their attack early in this match has shown. Emily Gilnick now with a cross and maybe a shot. Went too far. Couldn't quite get on the end of it. Was Nikki Flannery on the left boot. Flannery has really come into her own as an attacker, previously mostly in the midfield, but moved forward and has been brilliant. 4 goals this season alongside Emily Gilnick and Rachel Lowe. That triple threat for Victory. What's happening here? A bit of confusion. Rachel Lowe doesn't like it. They play on. Nash, touch outside. Chidiac back to Bunge. Headed away by Munn. Gomez. Now Trimis. Inside for Rasmussen. Gomez back. Nice little triangles being created by the Mariners. Brooke Nunn. Martin. Touch on for Trimis, who can use her pace and turn the Jets on. Here's Rasmussen in her favourite spot. And misses. But gets a hand and a high five from her teammates. Rasmussen has been incredible to watch in recent weeks. 6 goals this season. The academy product who joined the Mariners at just 11 years old. She is a massive part of the future of this club. And earns the team another corner. 3rd of the match. Taylor Ray going to kick it in. Goes on the ground to Trimis. They go back out to Nash. Back to Trimis, who's got space to go inside. Chip over the top. Looking for a head. Can't find one. Victory clear it for a moment, but they continue to weather the storm. Mariners being forced back now a little. Pressure coming from Victory, and it's worked. Chidiac wins it. Dapolonia now. Space on the right. They take it. Ellie Wilson has to beat Brooke Nunn. 2 English internationals going head to head. Wilson with good skills, but Nunn holds her up. O'Grady. Weaving through traffic, did really well. Emily Gilnick is called offside. The ability of the Mariners to nullify the threat that is Emily Gilnick will be a deciding factor in this game. And so far, they've done really well. You could see they set up the offside trap there. Martin giving thumbs up to her teammates in the defence. They're not going to let Emily Gilnick get out the back with much ease at all. There's a touch inside for Dapolonia that's worked out instead. Dapolonia on the run and into the box, through the legs of the defence. Nash and Ray were there. Ray had the touch and the clearance. Brooke Nunn on the left sideline takes it out accidentally. Chidiac with a heavy touch and runs into Sarah Rowe. Gives away the free kick in the process. In fact, Rowe was called for the foul. Chidiac will win this one. Kayla Morrison's going to take it. Still looking for Gilnick. Why wouldn't you? 12 goals in a season. Such a powerful player. Rachel Lowe somehow is onside here. Flannery moves inside, looking for Gilnick's head. This time the hands of Langman have to get there first. Double fist clears the ball. But Gilnick ends up with it behind her, and the third back heel of the day does not work out. I swear one of these days it's going to work out, though. When it does, it's a beautiful thing. This clearance by Langman, well timed. Flannery steals that and runs straight into a player. Sarah Rowe just standing there. I'm not sure what the referee saw. I saw Sarah Rowe with her eyes on the ball. Nikki Flannery just ran straight into her. Oh, maybe there was an arm out. Yeah, a rogue arm from Sarah Rowe has given away a free kick. What's a dangerous spot for the Mariners. All trying to get rid of that paint that seems to be changing the texture of the ball and making it more slippery. So Janchevsky and Murphy. Janchevsky with the left boot. A curling ball. Chidiac on the volley straight into the back of Greta Krasula. That one's got a sting, but they play on. Here's Bunge working against Nash. Stands strong, but Brooke Nunn's going to come involved, and she wins it for the Mariners. Wins a round of applause too. Tough player, Brooke Nunn. Causes plenty of chaos in the midfield, but very adept at turning defence into attack. Chidiac nearly let that go as Gomez was coming on the run. Now Chidiac can take her own run. Just took it a little too far. Well, there's a player on the turf. I think it's still Chidiac. She got tangled up with Brooke Nunn and is holding her left ear. She stepped inside and took an awkward fall. Didn't seem to have any malice in it on the part of Nunn, but certainly, yeah, there's an elbow she's run into. Immediately called for the physio assistance, but she seems to be okay. Just the way Paige Malawa-Dooley, the referee, immediately called for a physio makes you worry. And of course, we have to be very careful checking head knocks, but this one seemed like a glancing blow. So you can see the elbow straight into the temple of Chidiac. She'll take a spell, have a Gatorade. I'm sure she'll be okay. One of the most exciting players to watch in the midfield, of course, when she came back into the league last season, was a huge boon for Melbourne Victory fans. And she's been crucial in their attack all season this year. Just the 1 goal, but 4 assists for Alex Chidiac. And she's part of the 100 club, played her 100th A-League game in January. There's a drop ball for the Mariners, and play restarts from the boot of Brooke Nunn. Mariners dominating possession so far in this game, and it's Melbourne Victory trying to win back a bit of momentum. Dapoloni is going to chase this down, and Jessica Nash not quite enough power on that one. She goes back to the goalkeeper in Sarah Langman. Pressure coming from Rachel Lowe. Headed to Trimmis. Trimmis can move at pace, but meets the boot of Claudia Bunge. Now Gilnick. Dapolonia. Panic, a great turn in the middle of the field. She beats Chidiac and she launches one from long distance. And that one's gone over the crossbar as Courtney Newbon breathes a sigh of relief. Newbon was beaten. She left the top of the goal netting unguarded as she dove. And this curler, you almost thought it was swinging in. So Mariners presenting a massive threat at this stage in the game to the Melbourne Victory. Victory, if you're just joining us, need nothing less than 3 points tonight if they're going to stay in the race for the Premier's Plate. It was Melbourne City earlier on this evening that defeated Newcastle Jets 4-1 in what was a chaotic game, including red cards and all kinds. But the headline reads that Melbourne City are 5 points clear of Victory on the ladder. With 2 rounds left, including tonight, Victory need 3 points. Here's Pennock. Jade Pennock takes a run and sends another one in. This one's collected more easily by Newbon. Morrison. Now Chevsky. Stolen by Dapolonia. And the goalkeeper, Sarah Langman, was off her line. Dapolonia saw it, clocked it, and sent it just a little too late. Moments earlier, it was Langman that was backpedaling fast. And Dapolonia had the eyes on her. Just didn't quite have it in range to shoot at that point. Nevertheless, here come the Mariners. Dominating the game so far, the Mariners. They're a team of upsets. Every time you think they're on a losing streak, they start winning. And when you think they are in form, they give a game away. Tonight, where they would come in as probable underdogs, they have been serving it up to Melbourne Victory. And here's Gomez, who's been serving it up to the entire league. We expect to see her in the Matildas lineup in years to come. One of the most promising young players in Australian football. Langman with 6 clean sheets this season. Hoping to keep another one tonight, possibly. Trimis. Martin. Sends that one over the sideline. By the sounds of things, Jeff Hopkins is getting a little frustrated with the way this game is panning out. Certainly, I think Melbourne Victory would come in expecting to dominate. They have a historic 6-winning streak, 6 games in a row for the first time in club history. They have won. While Jeff Hopkins is certainly not a quiet observer of most matches, there's a little extra in his voice tonight as they know what's on the line. It is a Premier's plate that could be given away in Melbourne tonight if they get anything less than a win. Bunge goes all the way back to Newbon. Newbon just happy to keep possession and maybe build things up a little slowly from the back for the Melbourne Victory. Scratch that, she'll go to the air. Looking for Gilnick's height again. Pennick can't bring it in. Chidiac finds Dapolonia with a clever touch forward for Rachel Lowe, who can turn among 2 players. She's gonna find the space out wide. Waits for reinforcements. Murphy. Murphy beats her opposing player in Pennick, and Jessica Nash, chased down by Gilnick, has to send it over the sideline and puts Victory deep in their half. Wilson with the throw-in. Gets to the head of Martin. Chidiac, the great goal assister. 4 assists this season. Chidiac finds Gilnick. Gilnick just finds traffic in yellow shirts, but she's still got the ball at her feet. Got to beat Gomez. Gomez, great touch. Defence turns to attack yet again through Izzy Gomez. You can see the tackle success rate for Central Coast Mariners, 80% to 60% for Victory. Tells a little bit of the story of how Central Coast Mariners have been able to break down the run of Victory and really stop them from gaining any momentum so far. The attack has been all the way of the yellow shirts at home. Coach Emily Husband has spoken about this, and many of the players on the team speak about it in interviews, that the Central Coast Mariners feel like when they are at home, it's like having another player on the field with the home ground and the home crowd advantage at Industry Group Stadium. Certainly seems that way tonight. As Dapolonia steals it for Victory in the middle of the field. Looping ball over the top. Gilnick had her eyes to the sky. Somehow she's onside. Nearly trips herself over, but still got possession. Working against Ray. Tried to get it back to Chidiac, but interrupted again by Izzy Gomez. Gilnick. Chidiac. Quick feet. Finds the overlap through Wilson, and Wilson goes end over end. There's a yellow card for Annabelle Martin. As we watch this unfold once more, it was certainly a lazy touch, clumsy at best, as Ellie Wilson was out in space, probably going straight to the goal square as well.
Sorry?
There's some frustration in the Central Coast Mariners as they believe that Emily Gilnick was offside just moments earlier, leading to that attack. So Martin on a yellow card. A free kick with slippery white paint sprayed all over the ball once more. Alana Janchevsky steps up to take it. Janchevski, the left footer, has scored 4 times off this boot. Oh, nearly straight into the net, but eventually saved. So close as Kayla Morrison glanced it forward with her head. Didn't get the power on it that she would have liked. She was being harangued by the defense of Izzy Gomez. Who else? Beautiful delivery, though, by Janchevski, who's such a threat with the left boot. And speaking of threats, here's Jade Pennick. Sends a curler looking for Rasmussen. Claudia Bunge had an important touch on it. Now Rowe. Nunn alongside Nikki Flannery. Rowe gets it back. Turnover was forced by Flannery.
Get out of there, Nikki. Get out of there again. You want to keep stretching the game up. Well done. Well done.
Victory told to stretch the game. Pull players wide and high and create more gaps in the middle, says Coach Jeff Hopkins. Getting really cluttered down one sideline. Here's Chidiac. Low. Lovely 1-2. Chidiac's got space and she's going to use it on the right. Taken down, though, from the defense of Greta Krasula. All within the rule book, says the referee. And now Rasmussen can range forward. Rasmussen finds none unguarded. Here's Izzy Gomez battling against the captain, Kayla Morrison, who shows her experience and just gets it back out to Chidiac, the midfield distributor. That ball slipped over the sideline by the looks, and Sarah Rowe gives it back to Melbourne Victory. Strong defensive player, Sarah Rowe, with that dual athletic threat as the AFLW and Gaelic football player. Janchevski is going to step up to throw this in. Pennick squeezed out by 2 players there, and to the delight of the crowd, wins it for her team. Here's Nash. Nunn tries to get through, gets tangled up with Melbourne Victory's defence as Janchevski tried to stop the run. The Mariners will have the throw in, though. Time ticks down on the first half. Still nothing to show for it, and Nunn just punches that straight back out. Turns her eyes to the sky as she'd not be happy with that. The momentum really feeling like it's the way of the Mariners. Flannery. Janchevski has to go through the air to get over the defence. Ray heads it back into the blender. Gilnick looking for Rachel Lowe. Martin. D'Apollonia wins a little battle against Rasmussen. Gets it back to Murphy. And now on the sideline with Janchevski. Chidiac. Morrison wants to go direct to the front line and finds Rachel Lowe, who can tap it down for Flannery. Lowe, unfortunate touch. Loses it to Jessica Nash, and now Peter Trimis. Now Rachel Lowe herself, a Golden Boot winner, playing alongside Golden Boot hopeful. In fact, 2 Golden Boot winners in that forward line for Melbourne Victory. Rachel Lowe got 12 goals last season, just 2 this season. Rasmussen takes a shot with not quite enough on it. But there's controversy as the referee, Paige Malau Aduli, is going to mark with that spray paint a free kick just outside the box. Rasmussen had it at her feet and was coming at pace. She was just inches away from the box there. Bunge a little too heavy on her, yeah, and just grabbed the arm. Well, it stopped a goal and it stopped a penalty. So Claudia, it stopped a goal and it stopped a penalty. So Claudia, it stopped a goal and it stopped a penalty. So Claudia, it stopped a goal and it stopped a penalty. So Claudia, it stopped a goal and it stopped a penalty. So Claudia, it stopped a goal and it stopped a penalty. So Claudia, it stopped a goal and it stopped a penalty. So Claudia, it stopped a goal and it stopped a penalty. So Claudia, it stopped a goal and it stopped a penalty. So Claudia, it stopped a goal and it stopped a penalty. So Claudia, it stopped a goal and it stopped a penalty. So Claudia, it stopped a goal and it stopped a penalty. So Claudia, it stopped a goal and it stopped a penalty. So Claudia, it stopped a goal, but it didn't result this time. So Victory can breathe a sigh of relief, and Kayla Morrison can get the clearance they're looking for. Ooh, not with that kind of pass. Newbon's going to have to clear it. Martin, throw back in. Rasmussen. Still Rasmussen, surrounded by Navy shirts. None. Clever touch into Sarah Rowe, who can take a run through. None. Still got possession for the Mariners. Tried to curl it to Pennick, but Newbon's going to come first and grab that before it can reach any other yellow players. And now they can counter-attack Melbourne Victory. They've got plenty of space in this midfield. Dapolonia will take it. Receives back from Gilnick. The chip forward, still looking for Gilnick on the run. There's a clear reliance of Melbourne Victory to get to Emily Gilnick, and you can understand it, but she's sort of been marked out of the game at this stage. Not had any clear opportunities to go forward. Playing man-to-man really well, the Central Coast Mariners. Here's Langman. 1 minute left in regulation time for the first half of a must-win clash. Melbourne Victory need to win it. Emily Husband wants a point or more, and you can see how much it means on her face. They want this win at home, and they would love to spoil the party for Melbourne Victory to give away the Premier's Plate tonight. Chidiac going to try and stop that from happening. Flannery curling one in. Landed straight in the bread basket, though, for the keeper, Sarah Langman. The back heel works out there from Pennick. What Emily Gilnick's tried to do all night. Pennick delivers nearly to Rasmussen. If you are watching this with your volume turned down a little bit, turn it up, I suggest, because Jeff Hopkins is one of the more fascinating coaches to listen to on the sideline, as 3 minutes of injury time are added to this first half. Ball over the top. Still looking for the forwards. This time they're onside. It's Dapolonia who can take a run. The touch just a little too heavy. Taylor Ray able to steal that one with a shaving tackle. Victory. Still got it. Rachel Lowe couldn't control it. Gives it away as a goal kick to Sarah Langman. And Langman's very happy to take her time here. Well, we expected fireworks tonight. We expected Melbourne Victory to come out hot. Central Coast Mariners have brought it right to them as this one goes high and long into the centre of the park. Dapolonia can't get control of it, but they'll go backwards to go forwards. Victory. Maybe there's one last burst of attack before halftime. Nash. Hopkins has been telling his forwards to go up and get it, to stay a little higher all night. Put pressure on that defence for the Mariners. Krasula. Langman's come out high now, trying to earn a little bit of extra space. Martin. Touched by Gomez as she lost her footing. Chidiac wants to go quickly. If anyone can do it, Chidiac can. Turn things around just before halftime. Dapolonia beats the defence. Makes her way through, but gives it away. Now Trimis. Everyone is exhausted from this first half, but Trimis still has the pace. Almost like Victory's defence was standing flat-footed as they watched Trimis take that through. Izzy Gomez put in a power of work as well. It's only a matter of time, you feel, before she starts being selected more regularly into the Matildas. Of course, she had her first call-up in November, just before that knee injury that kept her sidelined for 3 months. So there is the halftime whistle. What a fascinating battle between two teams who feel like they want to win or go home. It's everything on the line here tonight. For Melbourne Victory, a chance to stay in the race for the premiership plate. And for Central Coast Mariners, a chance to cement their place in the finals. At halftime, it's Central Coast 0, Melbourne Victory 0. Well, here are the highlights from the first half, and it's been mostly Central Coast Mariners on the attack. Rasmussen and Trimis and Gomez, those three alongside Panic, who had this shot, have been dangerous up front, and certainly they have created the gaps and the opportunities to put things away. They've just been unable to finish, and this was their best looks. Jade Panic was one-on-one with the keeper. Great keeping by Courtney Newbon. Kept them out and kept everything alive for Melbourne Victory. Now, Victory at the other end, they've been trying to get it out to Emily Gilnick, and Gilnick has been double-teamed. She has been man-to-man marked and caught offside. So when she can deliver balls like that to her opposing forward in Flannery, it might be the recipe for success, as Panic had this strike and that almost curled in as well. Caught the keeper off her line. Chidiac nearly giving away a free kick on the way through as she grabbed her. Panic has come really close a number of times to scoring in the past few weeks. This header from Kayla Morrison didn't have the power on it, but it was Janchevsky's cross from the free kick off her left boot that she scored goals from that looked to be threatening. Here's a look at the stats. Possession more even than I expected. Central Coast seemed to be dominating the attack. They've got more shots and even number of shots on target. So fascinating how that's played out. Melbourne Victory able to weather the storm as well, and in the end, a very even half on the stats card. Half time and scores a level here at Industry Group Stadium as Central Coast Mariners host Melbourne Victory. Also this weekend, defending champion Sydney FC will host Perth Glory tomorrow at Allianz Stadium. And with a confidence boost, Sydney have won their last 3 games. They want to continue this streak against Glory, who are bouncing back from a 2-1 loss against Canberra United in round 21. Narlene Masto and Teresa Polias preview the game.
Sydney FC will take on Perth Glory at Allianz Stadium, and Teresa, with the Sky Blues, they're on a bit of a run so far, and I think a key player for this side has been Indiana Dos Santos. She made history in that Sydney derby. What have you made of her development in such a short period of time?
Yeah, she's been so impressive in the way that she's so calm under any circumstances, and for such a young player, she shows great consistency as well. And I think this season she's really stepped up as a leader through her actions.
Something we haven't really been able to say about this Sydney team is that they've kept back-to-back clean sheets. How much does that have to do with Jasmine Black's introduction between the sticks?
Oh, what an introduction she's had, and she's certainly brought positive and confident energy to the team exactly when they've needed, and her performances have been great. She's kept Sydney FC in games at times, and I think she's been a key cog in turning things around for them.
Now, Glory, they are level on points with Sydney, so this is a very even contest. What do you think is their best route to victory here?
Yeah, two informed teams really, and it should make for a great battle. And I think this game will be about which team is able to take their chances on the day.
Their top scorer so far this season has been Kelly Brown with 5 goals. But do you feel like that goal-scoring responsibility does need to be shared amongst the team?
Look, they've had a bit of an injury-interrupted season, and hopefully they can retain most players for next season. But I think the must-keeps are O'Donoghue, Wynne, Fonsoncam, Cassidy. I think the consistency in the lineup with those players will help build the chemistry, and I think then we'll see, a diverse lot of goal scorers.
Both these sides will want to end the season strong, so be sure you catch this one live on 10 Bold, Paramount Plus or 10 Play.
Perth Glory coach Stephen Peters and attacker Megan Wynne reflect on the team's 2-1 loss to Canberra in round 21, and they tell us the game plan for their match against Sydney FC tomorrow.
I think we had an opportunity there to put the whole situation somewhat in our hands, and we let that slip with, what was a first half performance that we're not proud of. But I thought the second half was really good, and we just got to build on that now, and we've got to learn from those mistakes. That and elements of the Central Coast game, Newcastle, we've looked into those 3. We think there's a lot of missed opportunities there in those 3 games. I think if you look at Ante as a player, he's a very good player for Sydney Olympic. Very good centre-back. I feel like, as a kid watching that team, he was a very good player in that regard, and you can see that in his team. He likes to be organised and play that very pragmatic style at the back especially, and I think, they'll be a tough opponent in that regard. But they've also got the quality to score goals. We're looking at, Mackenzie Hawkesby, he's their top scorer, but then, he's bringing Abini and Shay Connors off the bench, and Millie Farrell off the bench, so not bad.
Yeah, it's been useful. I think we've regrouped after obviously a disappointing result, and got to come in, everyone seems focused and ready to go again this weekend. I think obviously the initial reaction straight from the game was very disappointed, and we feel like we didn't give the best account of ourselves, so it was real kind of flat after that. We had a couple of days off. Stephen let us have the couple of days off, and we came back in, and I think everyone kind of regrouped, and it's been a positive vibe, and we're looking to push on now with these last 2 games. Obviously they shocked everyone with the start of their season and how badly that went for them, but I think we've noticed, we looked at their last 3 results, and I think they're unbeaten in 3 now, or won the last 3, so I think they're kind of on the up, and they've got a real motivation now to push on. So we know every game in this league's hard, and this is no different this week. They've got a very strong squad, and especially off the bench they can change games, so I think we've got to start strongly, get our foot in the door and score the first goal.
We're nearly in finals season. Welcome back to Industry Group Stadium. And in the Ninja A-League, absolutely nothing is set. Everything's up for grabs as the Central Coast Mariners host Melbourne Victory 0-0 at halftime. And Melbourne Victory are still chasing down ladder leaders Melbourne City, as Melbourne City are top of the ladder. Earlier tonight, they came away with a win against Newcastle, and there's 5 points between Melbourne Victory and Melbourne City as we stand tonight. If Melbourne Victory get anything less than 3 points out of this second half of football, the Premier's Plate goes to their crosstown rivals, Melbourne City. Meanwhile, the Mariners, they're here to spoil the party, and through the first half, the Mariners have been dominating possession, dominating the attack. They receive their final words in the huddle right now. Taylor Ray and Jade Pennick being vocal. As you can see, Annalise Rasmussen, the dominant attacker, in the middle of the screen there. But the headline is Melbourne Victory need 3 points tonight to continue chasing down the Premier's Plate. And Central Coast Mariners, they need a point either tonight or next week to cement their place in the finals. It is all to play for at Industry Group Stadium in Gosford. What more could you ask for from a penultimate round of what has been a fascinating season in the Ninja A-League? Melbourne Victory say their final words. And of course, for Emily Gillinick on the right of your screen there, it's not only victory that might be on her mind. There's a golden boot race on. And in the game that Melbourne City played earlier tonight, her rival, Holly McNamara, scored 2, putting her ahead of Gillinick. They were both on 12 goals for the season coming into this round. It's Holly McNamara who's taken the lead tonight. And Emily Gillinick, still nothing on the stats card in terms of goals. She'd love to get a couple and continue to chase that Golden Boot trophy down. So the delayed whistle kicks us off. We're underway for the second half as Central Coast Mariners play Melbourne Victory in a do-or-die clash. It's win or go home from the Premier's Plate race for Melbourne Victory. And for the Central Coast Mariners, they would love to spoil that party as well as secure their own place in the finals for the second season in a row under coach Emily Husband. It is the Mariners that take first possession, and they've been dominating the attack all through the first half. Dapolonia steals it, though, for Victory. And they've been trying to get it to Gillinick, that woman there, all night. Gillinick slips one through. 2 defenders looking for Lowe on a miscue. And the shouting you can hear from the sideline is Melbourne Victory coach Jeff Hopkins, who knows just how much this means to the team. It's a very important clash and a very important round of football. As a header accidentally falls off Rachel Lowe. And Ellie Wilson turns the Jets on to come up to the attack. Wilson, a nice cross early in the game. Gillinick's head was there. Flannery couldn't get in front of her defender. And Martin slides out. So Martin earned a yellow card earlier in this match. She's got to be careful in her defence, but Ellie Wilson's cross here posed a huge threat. Gillinick just didn't quite time the jump. But early in this second half, Melbourne Victory want to make their presence felt. Certainly Jeff Hopkins has been telling them to play more attacking as Chidiac sends this one in high and long. There's a call for a penalty as Claudia Bunge thinks she was held at the back post. The New Zealand football fern who can be so threatening in these situations. Oh, hello. Well, Sarah Rowe might have gotten away with something there. Nonetheless, play continues as the referee's whistle stays in her pocket. Flannery can chest this down. Flannery ends up on the turf. Gomez finds Nunn. Nunn steps it up a gear. Gets in front of Chidiac, but she's going to slow things down. Turns on the brakes. Turns in herself. Panic. Had 2 chances in the first half. Couldn't finish them. Looping ball over the top. Headed away. Apollonia gets one out wide instead. So this is the 3rd time these 2 teams have played in this season. Last time it was Victory that came away with a win. 2 goals went the way of Emily Gilnick. It was her brace the difference. And in the earlier match last year, early in the season, they were drawn. So these 2 teams very even in their history. Mariners love to get one back after the loss last time. Rachel Lowe can't get onto that quickly enough. That goes over the sideline for a Victory throw-in deeper in their own half. As Ellie Wilson, the English international, steps up. Langman under a bit of pressure, has to send it long. Header down, Gomez, PFA Player of the Month of March. Been a critical part of this Mariners resurgence in the second half of the season. Of course, the Mariners have been weathering a bit of a storm. They had a run of losses that could have spelled the end of their season. They managed to get things together just in time, and now find themselves within an inch of another finals berth. As Nunn sends this one out to Annabelle Martin. Gilnick's come back to defend. Chidiac. Chidiac plays at just another level of pace of every other player. Sometimes seems like everything slows down when she's on the ball. Ray gets it out under pressure from Lowe. Jeff Hopkins wants to see more of that. He's given a seat there on the sideline. I don't know how often he uses it. He's constantly on his feet, Jeff Hopkins. As you can see in the replay, there was a little jumper tug. Accidental handball there by Annabelle Martin. Jeff Hopkins almost called it himself. She's disappointed in that as well. Wilson throws it in. Now Murphy. Under siege from yellow shirts. Well, Rachel Lowe's cleverly cut off the pass back to the goalkeeper there. This is better pressure from Melbourne Victory. Ellie Wilson steals it back in a dangerous spot. Now Gilnick can cross. That one's gone to no man's land. Getting Emily Gilnick into scoring position would be item number 1 on the Melbourne Victory halftime talk, I reckon. 2 goals last time these 2 teams played. 12 goals on the season. A previous Golden Boot winner. And of course, in and out of the Matildas for many years. One of the most high-profile snubs, in fact, from the squad in the recent international window. Here's Chidiac. Out wide for Apollonia. Couldn't beat Rowe. Cleverly timed tackle there by Rowe. She's brought down on the way out. Sarah Rowe did really well to get a touch in there. And Apollonia just came in behind the American from Maine in Portland in her second season with victory. Nash, clever turn, showed inside and went out. Continues the run, Jess Nash, out to Martin. Wilson interrupted. Now Emily Gilnick can show some of her one-on-one skills. That one's just given away. Told to keep going, got to keep that pressure on, Melbourne Victory. Now, Rowe for the Mariners, sailing up the right sideline. Flannery to turn things around. Apollonia somehow continues to keep the ball in field and keeps possession for the Melbourne Victory. Low. Difficult first touch, lost possession. Nice build-up play here from the Mariners. Can they get it forward to Rasmussen? Newbon's off her line, but manages to collect that one first. Mariners sit at the bottom half of the league for goals scored, and Emily Husband would have loved to see more finished throughout the season. They've conceded, though, the third fewest, and goalkeeper Sarah Langman has one of the best save percentages of any keeper in the league, 79% save percentage. That's what's making things so difficult for Melbourne Victory. Jess Nash is not happy with that call. Gomez, clever pass to herself over the top of the head of Rachel Lowe. Unconventional way to beat a player, but Gomez has just about every trick in the book. Here's Ray. Gaping hole to Rasmussen. Somehow continues the run, and that one goes over the sideline. Jess Nash spoke to the media this week and said this kind of pressure game is a game that footballers live for. And they come into this game, although they only need 1 point to cement their place in the finals, they really come in thinking 3 points, nothing less. So both teams have really told how they feel about the 3 points. It's 3 points or nothing for both sides, and both coaches up on their feet. Wilson to throw in. Headed on by Gilnick. Low. Chip shot. Can Gilnick get on the end of it? Remember the Martins on a yellow card. Unfortunate one there. Gives away the corner to Melbourne Victory. And the momentum seems to be building now in favour of the Navy shirts. Alex Chidiak, the 100-game player, won the Julie Dolan medal in 2023. Here's the cross to the back post. The header is in! And the header is good. Melbourne Victory strike first. And finally, one falls for the New Zealand football fern, Claudia Bunge. I think... Well, here's the header, finally tipped in by Claudia Bunge, who came off international duty 28 senior caps for the Football Ferns. Nods that one in, and Victory take a lead in this second half in what has been an absolute arm wrestle through the first half. It is Central Coast Mariners now defending their turf with a 0-1 deficit. So the first points fall here at Industry Group Stadium, and it is the way of Melbourne Victory. What we had thought might happen a little earlier, certainly Victory coming in as the favourites to win the match. They've been unable to find Emily Gilnick, but that cross found someone who's just as good at nodding them home. And there's plenty of passion in this game. Annabelle Martin ends up on the turf. Wilson's going to get a talking to. Wilson with a really late charge at Martin. And certainly what earned Martin a yellow card earlier, you'd think that was in the range of similar. Here's Martin looping one forwards, couldn't find Rasmussen. Chased down by Chidiac first. So Victory now in the driver's seat. 60 minutes into this match, just a 1-goal lead, but they know what's at stake. It is a Premier's plate, and it is ready to be handed out if they do not take 3 points tonight. It will be given away to their rivals in the Sky Blue, the Melbourne City team that has had an incredible season. If you've been following along with Melbourne City's journey, undefeated season, a historic season for the Ninja A-League in this current format of a 23-game season. Touch forward for Pennick. Pennick in space. She has a one-on-one opportunity, and she sends it high again. Well, that's the second time we've seen one of those, and it's the third time Jade Pennick has been in front of goal and missed. Unlike her as well, Pennick usually a very experienced and clutch player in those scenarios. Has 4 goals on the season, obviously so experienced, a WSL forward on loan from Birmingham City. Hasn't been able to find the net yet today as Krasula gives away a free kick. Murphy. Pressure coming now from Central Coast Mariners' attacking line. Of course, you send the forwards high and you create gaps in between. If the midfielders don't step up in front of the midfielders, that's a way to get through. With a high press comes high opportunity for Melbourne Victory. And they do exactly that, finding the gaps in the midfield and find a way across. Midfield transfer through Wilson. Gomez takes possession and taken down on the way through. Alex Chidiac's going to earn a card here. Yeah, it's a yellow card for Alex Chidiac. And certainly a player of her experience should know better. This was very late. A push and also an ankle tap on the way. That's no good. And Gomez knows it. Those two at some point might even meet in the Matildas setup together. Haven't yet played alongside each other in the green and gold. Wilson. Bunge, the goal scorer, sends a curling ball high, looking for low. It's Ray that gets there first. And it's Langman under pressure. Deals with it well. Chested down by Dapolonia, though. Here come Melbourne Victory again. Clever step inside by Yanchevsky, who had Panic oncoming. Here's Chidiak. Chidiak makes a run around. Not quite fast enough to get into space. And Bunge sends that one forward to no avail. Hopkins seems to like the structure of Melbourne Victory a little more now. It's certainly squeezing out the possession from Mariners. They find a way through. Annabelle Martin on the left. Martin taken down again in quick succession. This time it's Dapolonia for the yellow card. Well, it seemed like an exact repeat of the play that Chidiak made on Martin. Yeah, yellow card by any reading of that replay. So Taylor Ray's going to step up to take this. Referees running out of yellow cards and running out of spray paint. The dynamic distributor who's started and played just about every minute this season, Ray. Oh, lovely interception, though, by Rachel Lowe, who sends it wide to Chidiak. Have got to make up ground now, Victory. Caught flat-footed as they turn defence into attack. Galich. Long ball into the box now. Martin's on the end of it. Can't get there. Yanchevsky to throw in. Trying to get something going. Melbourne Victory. Take two for Yanchevsky. Panic sends one over to Brooke Nunn, who's coming at pace. Had to be dealt with by Ellie Wilson. She did really well to get there first. Brooke Nunn on the attack is something you do not want to be facing one-on-one. But Ellie Wilson did well. So Wilson will step up and throw this in. The Wolverhampton Wolf played for Bristol and Sheffield, and here she is in Melbourne Victory colours. They couldn't be happier to have her. Header on. Couldn't get control of it in the front. And now Panic's gone to ground with, I think, a wayward finger in the eye. Got a poked eye or a stinger to the nose. Certainly those ones sting and make the eyes water. Looks to be okay, Jade Panic, and she is such a weapon up front, has nearly got onto the scoreboard. Yeah, there you go. Just a glancing blow from the right hand as Murphy went down. Meanwhile, off camera, Chidiak is having words with the referee and looks like she might even be booked. Alex Chidiak and Paige Malau-Aduli as well as Nikki Flannery. So Taylor Ray is going to restart things after a heated exchange between Chidiac and the referee. And Jade Pennick seems to be okay. Drama at Industry Group Stadium. So the yellow card actually went to Alana Murphy after that. And now Victory are on the defense. Rasmussen's on the attack. Couldn't get through. Gomez is going to try and follow up. So is Ray. Bianca Galich, who came on at about 60 minutes. Usually starts games, Bianca Galich. This time started on the bench, but an impact substitute for the second half. Flannery. D'Apollonia gets it through the legs of Brooke Nunn. Murphy. Martin's on the ground again. Brooke Nunn is chasing through the middle and Chidiac gets there. Interrupts the run. She's on her own though, out on the left wing, waits for reinforcements. Sends it to D'Apollonia. Ball into Wilson, who will go backwards to go forwards. Wilson finds a gap in the defence and uses it. Rachel Lowe was chasing it down, but Sarah Langman got there first. Six clean sheets this season for Sarah Langman. The only player alongside Nash and Ray who's played every minute of every game. Nash. Interrupted again by Victory. Mariners are going to try the other sideline. Martin, who's on her feet again, having been pulled down 3 times in a row. Prizula. Morrison under pressure from Pennick. Has to be dealt with by Newborn and sends that one into the sideline stands. Sarah Rowe restarts things through Galich. Now Ray. Martin couldn't find the gap. Gomez stolen away by Chidiac. That one-on-one battle, fascinating to watch. As Newborn scans the field, looking for an option, she'll go long. Just try to get it out of their defensive half. Really been a surprise game, this one, how Melbourne Victory came in as hot favourites on a 6-game historic winning streak. And their momentum has been somewhat arrested by the Central Coast Mariners. Been in this game, every inch of it, almost scored in the first half and could be 2-1 up the Mariners if it weren't for a few saves, clutch saves by Courtney Newborn. Wilson to throw in. Rachel Lowe sends it back. There's a standoff with Brooke Nunn. It's sent deep for the Mariners to collect. Langman, short to Ray. Gets through to Martin. Martin takes a run inside. Goes down again. Got to be careful with the knees on Martin. Meanwhile, Victory somehow come up with it in a dangerous zone. Nash is there, but there's pressure coming. None. Inside, stolen by Victory again. Bunge. Chidiac gives it away. Now Gomez has space. She ranges forward and finds Rasmussen. Two of the youngest, brightest stars in the Ninja A-League. Rasmussen hits the foot of Janchevsky, but they'll get the throw in here, the Mariners. Looking for an equaliser. Here's Rowe. Rowe calling for an option. Meets the head of Emily Gilnick first. Panic gets over the top. Nunn can't get up to it. Ellie Wilson wants to be there first and beats Gomez to it, who comes in with a lazy tackle. Might even be another card scenario. Maybe not quite. Izzy Gomez, the 22-year-old with 4 goal contributions in 4 games across March. She's been a crucial part of this Mariners push for finals since she came back from a 3-month-long knee injury. Well, she had her maiden call-up to the Matildas just before that, but there's a substitution being made. It looks like Holly Furphy will come on, and Emily Gilnick will come off with nothing to show for her Golden Boot scorecard tonight. She trails Holly McNamara by 2. Heading into the final game of the season, Gilnick is on 12 and Holly McNamara of Melbourne City is on 14 goals. So right now it's Holly McNamara with 3 fingers and a thumb on that Golden Boot trophy. But of course anything can happen next week. And it is Melbourne Victory at this point in the game that are still in the race for the Premier's Plate. It's going to come down to the final week of the regular season for that Premiership Plate, unless the Mariners have something they can do about it here tonight. If it's a draw, Melbourne City win the Premiership. If it's a loss to Melbourne Victory, City win the Premiership. Nothing less than 3 points is what it's going to take for Jeff Hopkins and his crew. Nash feeds Galich. Galich through the middle to Rasmussen. Stolen by Chidiac. Chidiac down the line. And both teams think they win the free, or the throw-in, my apologies.
Keep together as a team! Keep together!
Well, 2 players end up on the ground now, and Sarah Rowe thinks that her shirt was pulled. Holly Furphy straight off the bench and into the bad books of the referee. She'll get a talking to. Everyone told to calm down. Well, Jeff Hopkins had his own opinions of that interaction, but play continues. Sarah Langman. Nash goes back again to the keeper. Much higher pressure now from Melbourne Victory. Clever step by Brooke Nunn. She's got such skills.
Runner, help. Talk to Murph. Murph and screen. Go, Sarah. Good.
Through ball to Gomez is good, and the wide ball to Munn, even better. Munn on the run now, trying to find Galich. Galich has to battle with Bunge. Bunge sends it out for a throw-in to the Mariners. Another substitution being made, and it's everyone's favourite impact player. Tiana Fuller is going to come on, and Rasmussen will come off. So it is youngster for youngster, 16-year-old academy product Tiana Fuller, who has 5 goals on the season and is one of the most impactful substitutions you could ask for, comes onto the park. Mariners trying to equalise. Martin sends one floating into a dangerous zone, but Morrison gets there first. Furphy. Another impact player, this one for victory. Sends it backwards to go forwards down the sideline. Yachevsky. Low, trying to get through the legs of Jessica Nash. And loses it.
Stay out! Stay compact!
Chidiak at the back of Galich. Galich gets it away to Ray. Midfield transfer. It opens up for Martin. She can get it forward to Brooknan. Brooknan's got to beat the defender. Nearly had a step inside on Ellie Wilson, but Ellie Wilson has been clutch all game at the back. Not put a foot wrong. Annabelle Martin clobbered in the back there. She's been in the wars, Annabelle Martin. You can see the grass stains up her arms. Spent a lot of time on the turf. Gone flying across the turf on multiple occasions. And the Gosford crowd not happy about something here. Was that an accidental handball? They certainly think it was, but the chip shot is taken anyway. Dapolonia saw an opportunity, took it. Langman got her gloves to it. The crowd are getting involved now here at Industry Group Stadium. Just over 10 minutes left of regulation time. Panic. Sees space on the right, can't get there. Now Panic, that was Ray, my apologies. Panic taken down. And a free kick awarded. Yanchevsky giving that one away. Yeah, very late there. The lazy tackle. And the free kick's going to be taken by Nash quickly. Free kicks 11 to the 8 for Central Coast Mariners. And this one's fallen kindly for Galich, who just has to beat Wilson. Got through the legs. Still in play somehow. But given away. And the free kick goes the way of victory, despite what Emily Husband has to say on the sideline, which implied there was a push before any of that. Not quite sure what Bianca Galich is supposed to have done there. But Courtney Newborn will send it back into the centre of the park. Opportunity now for victory at the other end. Out in space, but Sarah Rowe gets it over the sideline. Back and forth battle late in this game for the Central Coast Mariners and Melbourne Victory. Rachel Lowe has been chasing down balls at the front all day, and Furphy was chasing that one down but had a jumper pulled. Referee saw it late, and a free kick's going to be awarded right outside the box here. Sarah Rowe, the troublemaker. But once more, I think that that's a better result than giving away a penalty or a goal opportunity. Just a late pull, tug on the arm, seen right on time by Paige Malau-Aduli. Janchevski is going to step up to take this. The left-footed queen scored 4 goals with her left, 1 with her right. She is a long-range master. Certainly this is within her range and in her wheelhouse to be kicking a goal from here. Alongside Alana Murphy, the 19-year-old emerging midfielder for Melbourne Victory. All of her goals, bangers. Officially classified that. Here they go. It's Janchevski to take it with the left boot from range. And gets straight to the gloves of Sarah Langman. So still just a 1-score game. Still anyone's game. Mariners brought Tiana Fuller on, who is the specialist at scoring late, coming off the bench and creating impact. They'll look to find her at the front. Brooke Nunn collects in the midfield, goes around and through. Fed that to no man's land as Panic and Fuller seem to be both thinking the other would collect it. None. Showed inside, went out. Lost her footing and lost possession. Ray with pressure coming from low. Jessica Nash. Panic nearly lost her footing. Bumped off by Furphy. Furphy did really well. The youngster, strength on the ball. Can't deliver it to her teammate, though. Rachel Lowe stopped the run early. Victory called to come back and defend. Hopkins knows this is a dangerous time for a tired team. Chidiac. There's a few calls for a free kick there as Chidiac gets off her feet. There's a substitution being made here for Victory. Pickett will come on. And a massive moment for the Central Coast Mariners captain. Taryn King receives the armband, and she will come on after 450 plus days on the sidelines with an ACL injury. Taryn King is back on the field, back in Mariners colours and back in the captain's armband. And Shay Evans will also take the field in place of Brooke Nunn. But what a moment for Mariners fans to see their captain back on the turf. The ACL suffered in January 2024, and Taryn King has been patiently rehabbing and waiting for her moment to come back on. Now is that moment. Can she be a difference maker? Shay Evans. Now Ray. Panic. Goes back. Furphy finds Lowe out in space. Lowe has Furphy making a run, and the defense is good by Nash, but Lowe still has it. Furphy now has it. But Gomez saves the day. Izzy Gomez, not only an attacker, but a defending superstar. Panic at pace, finds Evans. This looks good for the Central Coast Mariners. Evans inside, is looking for Gomez. Chidiac. Well, Panic accidentally lost control there and gave away a free kick, and Victory are going to take their time, no doubt, to restart the action here. Really didn't look like much in it for Janchevski. There's confirmation of those substitutions on your screen. So Janchevski restarts play. Just over 3 minutes, just under 3 minutes, in fact, of regulation time. And the captain, Taryn King, gets her first touches in 15 months. Martin over the top to Gomez. Chested down by Murphy. D'Apollonia, in fact. King in the captain's armband once more. A great feed forward. Gomez not on the same page with Tiana Fuller. Both were running the same line, but they'll get the throw in here. Gomez wants to go quickly. Knows what's on the line. 1 point cements their place in finals, and it spoils the party for the premiership hopefuls. Melbourne Victory. Chidiac. D'Apollonia uses her pace through the midfield, sends it out to Flannery. Flannery can go here. Flannery out on her own, crossing ball, looking for the head of Rachel Lowe. One's gone into the skies. And gloved by Langman. Langman's got to go quickly here. Shouts at her players to get up. Well, this is taking time off the clock for the Mariners. Martin forced to go all the way back. You can see what Victory are doing. Happy to hang back. Play defensively for the final minutes. They just want to secure the win. It doesn't need to be fancy. 1-0 will do it. Shay Evans finds Pennock. Pennock can turn and go. No one coming to her. Pennock takes the space given and sends it wide across to Fuller, who can't get the power on it. There was a golden opportunity and Fuller lost her footing, but this one might come back for Bianca Galich, who's taken to the turf. There's a discussion being had whether that was inside or outside the box. And certainly the fans felt it was inside. Looking at the replay, it might be just outside, and that is what Paige Malawi-Dooley has said.
Get it right!
Jeff Hopkins thinks he knows where it should be marked. There is all kinds of advice being sent out to the referee, but none of it will matter. The spot has been marked. The white spray paint, 1/2 metre outside the box. And Jade Pennock with a lethal right boot, stepping up to take this. There is an open net on the left side of Courtney Newborn. She's going to take it back into the centre and cover that now. Martin from distance. Straight to the breadbasket once more to Courtney Newborn's gloves. And that was a golden opportunity for the Central Coast Mariners. 5 minutes of additional time have been added. Newborn able to dive on that with ease. Oh, wow, what a moment. The decision that it came outside the box, certainly the Mariners fans had thought it was inside. They thought they were up for a penalty kick. Victory, breathe a sigh of relief. Taryn King in her first minutes back from ACL injury, which is such a huge injury to come back from. You cannot overstate how difficult it is. Those 3 letters mean so much to so many players who've had it happen. Victory, still attacking. Low, trying to wind down the clock a little here.
Lock him in there. Bungie. Bungie, she doesn't get her in turn. She's done, well done.
Victory told to lock it in. Keep it down this half. The Mariners desperately looking to steal it. Furphy. Still got possession. In no rush to go into the box. Shay Evans got to be clever here. in a one-on-one battle with Dapolonia. Rowe, Evans, they need to find the space, the Mariners. Panic just a little too close to it all. Ray gets it over the top. This is the space they need. Kicked on by Fuller. Interrupted. But the throw-in will go the way of the Mariners. Hopkins says that Martin went a little too far forward, but it went backwards anyway. Now they'll lose possession, the Mariners. They need to play quickly here, Mariners. A minute and a half left in injury time. Martin. There's space out wide on the right if they can find it. King does find it. Great eyesight, great vision. Nash. Evans. Ray, high ball, looking for Panic. Panic's got to keep this in. And called offside. That's so unfortunate for the Mariners. The ball spent an age in the air. Panic timed her run just a little early. Oh, that's so close. So the naked eye, really nothing in it. Newbon going to try to take as much space and territory as she can. Finds a lot of it. Mariners forced to go all the way back. 30 seconds to go in this 5-minute injury time allocation. Flannery. Chidiac. Happy to go fast and head to the corner. Dapolonia. Well, cries of outrage as Flannery is taken to the turf, and then bundled over the top is Bianca Galich. Play continues though. Less than 20 seconds. In fact, there is 5 minutes of injury time just expired. This might be the sealer, the final attempt of attack from Central Coast Mariners. Ball into the box. Gomez bats it out. Galich ends up on the turf, and Chidiac can run it out now. Chidiac just winding the clock down, and she knows it. She knows it. Melbourne Victory are still in the hunt for the premiership. It's 3 points in Gosford that keep their Premier's Plate hopes alive, and they ensure that the race goes down to the final game of the regular season in the Ninja A-League. What a match. Melbourne Victory are going to leave the Central Coast with all 3 points, and those premiership hopes still very much alive. They now have 7 wins in a row, an incredible 12-game unbeaten streak, and they're just 1 point separating them from the top of the table, Melbourne City. So at full time here in Gosford, it's Central Coast Mariners 0, Melbourne Victory 1. Here are the highlights of the match. It was all the way of Central Coast Mariners early in the first half, and I think if they had gotten on the scoreboard early, this could have gone very differently. If that one had been finished by Jade Panic after this beautiful build-up by Izzy Gomez, certainly things would have looked very differently. Izzy Gomez, March PFA Player of the Month, was absolutely crucial in plenty of attack. Jade Panic had a number of opportunities. This one from long range just sailed high, and she had a similar look late in the game in the second half that sailed high as well. Any of those could have gone in. She had the goalkeeper beaten. This cross almost landing. Well, it did land, in fact. There was an early one that didn't, but this one, make no mistake about it, Claudia Bunge, the New Zealand football fern, right place, right time, right on the head to the net. And the celebrations of her team, and that was the difference maker. Really nothing else to separate these teams. Again, Jade Panikin, third time in front of net, couldn't finish, and it'll be those opportunities, I think, that Emily Husband's side will rue when they watch the tape back and think about how they might change things as they head into their final game of the season. For the Mariners, next week is do or die. They need a point to cement their chance in the finals, and they'll have to rely on other teams' results to ensure they get that spot. If not, Dapolonia nearly put a second in the net for Melbourne victory. But the goalkeeping was good here from Sarah Langman, who is one of the most impressive in the league between the sticks. Here are the stats. They tell the story that I've just told. Very even in terms of possession. More passes made by Central Coast, which is maybe felt like they had a lot of momentum, but they could not finish, and that was the difference. A lot of fouls and a lot of corners. A number of yellow cards handed out in the second half. But all of that is immaterial when the scoreline reads 1-0 to Melbourne victory, and the premiership race is still on. So it's a massive weekend in the Ninja A-League. The Sydney FC Championship defenders are going to play Perth Glory. Sydney FC in 9th, playing 10th, so playing for pride at this moment. Brisbane later on, and Western United FC play Adelaide United on Saturday afternoon. Brisbane, there they are in 7th, chasing the top 6. That's a crucial match. They've got to win against Western Sydney Wanderers and hope they can make their way up into the top 6. Meanwhile, Canberra narrowly in 6th position. They need to win to stay in it. So a massive night here in Gosford. Melbourne victory lead with 3 points and still in the race for the Premier's Plate. Melbourne City better be watching their rear vision mirrors as victory are coming for it. Emily Gillenick's going to have to wait another week to get into that Golden Boot race, because Holly McNamara currently has 3 fingers and a thumb on it. That's all from us here tonight. My name's Kate Allman. It has been a pleasure. We hope you join us next time in the Ninja A-League.